Greetings, sports fans and Huns Nation members everywhere. Billy O here, still zooming in from Aruba, where a lot of old people vacation. This is Huns Oldcast 2.9 for August 23rd, 2021. Tonight's special guest is Huns legend in the making, Austin Willis. Austin, how you doing?
High praise, legend already.
Legend in the making. You're in the making.
In the making. All right. Okay. I'll take it. No, that's awesome. I'm doing great. Just celebrated a birthday yesterday. Went to Florida.
What are you like, 17?
No, 24. Had a good one and had a really good month. So started off with a great tournament in Seattle. And then got to work on the MLR draft and got to be a part of that process. And then got to go to Florida this past weekend. So it's been a great August, and I'm just as thrilled today to be a Hun and an AG as I have been any other day.
Awesome to hear, man. It has been an absolutely great month. We were talking about it before we hit the record button. The championship, the plate, and playing in the nationals has been great. Winning TRU this year was great. I was talking to somebody, probably Matt Mitchell last week, that I think this has been as good a run as the club's ever had, and that includes going to the National Final Four in the Open Division back in the 90s and the National Championship in 2017. And the reason is we're not just doing great competitively, but the whole club was really together on all of this fundraising, rooting you guys on. What do you think?
Oh, so true. And I had to take this 15 season off for the most part because I was a part of the AG's COVID bubble. So I was getting tested every other day and felt, if the guys on the team were going to take the bubble seriously, it meant that I had to take it, twice as serious. So I was going to be in there every day. And so it was really bummed to miss the whole 15 season. But when I went out to sevens training for the first training of the season, I saw more guys out for sevens than I'd seen for 15s. And I was blown away. And then you start looking around and you see this fresh crop of college guys. You see some guys come out of the woodwork that did the same as me and took 15s off or, what have you. But we had this huge team training against each other. And each week, the faces that you saw, it would change who you're competing against. It was this hugely competitive team. And so that was, super exciting when you come out and see all those guys. And then when you get down to it and you start looking around at who you're competing with and you realize how talented the team is, man, it was really awesome. And, you saw it in the ending and you saw how many Huns guys traveled up just to watch and how many guys you check between games and how many guys were following it and saying good job and congrats. And it was watching the old cast every week and hearing guys talk about me, talk about my teammates, and just all the momentum was amazing. And it made for a season that I'll definitely never forget.
It's been fun. We're all having a good time. And again, we're all in it together. I mean, even the old boys cheering, raising money, talking shit on our email page. We still use email. But it has been an incredible August. I mean, I want to go back a few weeks to Hell or High Water. Actually, a couple months now. We don't win Hell or High Water. We don't maybe win TOLA. We don't maybe get selected as one of the 4 play-in teams for nationals. And that last try in Hell or High Water was some guys that some of them didn't make the final squad. I mean, you talk about 40-something guys at practice, even the tournaments that we won along the way, there were so many people that contributed to that while guys were hurt or whatever it might be. I mean, this is a real club deal on and off the field. And so many players contributed to the TOLA championship that got us to nationals.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a pivotal tournament for everybody. in the club, everybody that was chasing a national spot. That was a big one. And I'll say Adam and Reese have been really humble about this, telling this hell or high water story, but Adam wasn't there and everybody knew that he wasn't going to be there that weekend. He was going to be at a wedding. And there was some tension going into that, knowing that our head coach wasn't going to be there. There was some added anxiety on the day. I showed up first and was trying to figure out, where do I put the tent? Where do I this isn't usually my decision,
Dad's not here.
Is this a good spot? Is that a good spot? But give a ton of credit to Alex Reese, Ryan Kretschmar, Brian Wellborn, and then also goes unmentioned is Corey Jones that weekend, who wasn't playing, but instead kept stats for the boys. And after each game or every 2 games would review those stats and tell us what we were doing right, what we were doing wrong. This incredible analytical approach that I hadn't gotten before. But yeah, when you're missing your coach, you immediately get this feeling of how much Adam does for our team. All the stuff that's usually ironed out and smooth, that didn't go together. And then Brian, Alex, Kretsch all pick up the slack. And
so that was Corey's hurt. Alex is hurt. Adam's not there. Yep. And the Reds are marching in systematically for the game-winning try. And Ricky Chestnutwood tracks back like a zillion yards to tackle the guy on the 5-meter line. Cesar Escajeda intercepts an offload. Yeah. And then Guppner, just an unsung hero when you think about the Nationals weekend. Guppner and Case Fleck do 2-man rugby down the side to score the winning try. And again, we beat the Reds 3 times, twice at the death, and then we blew them out in River City Sevens. But we don't make that play. We may not have been in the Cygnus Cup, the top division, last weekend. Seriously, you can't make this shit up.
Agreed, man. And that was special watching those guys do that. And Ricky, man, he did that how many times this season?
I know, it's crazy.
That's a special player right there.
All right, real quick, who has a better mullet, Chestnutwood or LeMasters?
I think LeMasters trimmed his recently, so I got to go Ricky because he's maintained it. He's kept it lethal as ever.
Chestnutwood is the last mullet standing, huh?
That's right.
All right, so then let's real quick fast forward to River City Sevens. You get Brandon back. Corey's super full healthy again, and you get Brendan back.
Yeah.
And except for a slow start against Reds 2 in the morning, it seemed like everything came together that day. And we ran HTX with a bunch of pros off the field in the second half and just dominated the Reds. It's like we broke the Reds' heart. It's like that bullet, the silver bullet through Jacula's heart. It's like we killed them that day. And, I'm watching and listening to Alex's broadcast while he's coaching you guys. And, man, up to that point, I don't know that I'd ever seen a day of sevens rugby for the Huns go better than that. What did you guys think?
Oh, 100%. It was completely a back against the wall, must-win tournament in everybody's mind. And, the guys before me on the whole old cast have talked about the meeting on Monday before the tournament, basically everyone going around the room saying what they can do better and agreeing that we had to win on Saturday or our season was done. And one thing that goes unmentioned about that meeting is that Corey Jones actually, after everything concluded, Corey Jones pulled 9 of us aside and broke out his notebook and said, "What can I do better?" And just as a captain, as a player, opened himself up to whatever feedback we could give him. And he was a guy that needed it, and he had the maturity to do that. And that after we got done, all of us going around saying what he could do better, I pretty much walked away from that, had said this could change the trajectory of our season. And it certainly did, because not only did it change let Corey go out and be the best leader that I've seen him be and to be the best player that I've seen him be. But it also allowed everyone in that circle to be completely transparent with each other on what we could all do better and immediately take in advice on the fly. And throughout that tournament, you saw that in the Red River or in the Austin River City, was just guys giving each other little one-on-ones, taking time together. I spoke with Ricky, said, hey, I need you out of that ruck. I can't have you going into that ruck. It was those little micro comms that conversation opened the door for. And so at the end of the day, celebrating that trophy and winning that, it was all like a collection of like one of the best weeks I've had in rugby, because it was one of the most maturing experiences I've ever seen one player and then eventually 13 players go through.
It was a great day, and it was fun to listen to Alex because he knows everything about everybody. Corey had a great day, but you had a fabulous day that day, very noticeable throughout Alex's broadcasts all day long. So fast forward, we raised enough money to basically send you guys to Seattle. You get up there, you get logged in. Game 1 is Chicago Lions. Played them great. I went back and I have found those videos online, and we're in the process of getting permissions now to post them on our YouTube page. But, y'all play the Chicago Lions great, and that game could have gone either way, but we lost. You rebound against the defending national championship Washington Athletic Club, who is basically the lead sponsor of the damn tournament, playing on home soil. Tell me the truth. Everybody holding their breath when the referee's talking to Corey?
Yeah, I think so. I'm like featured pretty heavily on the camera in that little scuffle, even though I'm not really involved. They just kind of zoomed in on me. I was listening in just like everybody else, just trying to hear what the verdict was going to be. We did get a little bit fortunate there, that nothing connected, but they leaned on the side of retaliation. When Corey and Case got in the dump tackle, their guy threw a shot at Corey that I saw pretty clear. And then that's when Brandon came in with the overhand right. It didn't quite connect, but it
looked really bad on the first review, but I'm glad the refs let him play and erred on the side of caution. Back in my day, punches were normal. I mean, there was no such thing as a yellow card or a red card. You just played on.
And Bill, we're a young team, but I think we've got a bit of old souls on our team. Like Jack Casey and Hell or High Water, when Case Fleck took that elbow from the Reds guy in the head, Jack Casey came from about 25 meters away to come defend him. And so that's where it starts is, basically the referees told us at that tournament, whenever we look over and there's a fight going on, it's the guys in blue that are fighting. And to our defense, we kind of circled up and said, you know what, that's what we do. We come to get each other's backs. And that was a precedent that we set is, we don't love to be the team that throws punches, but we are the team that gets each other's backs.
You know what, man? I think some of that fight is awesome. And we'll just move on. So then up come the Oceanside Chiefs. So we started slow. We rebounded. The Oceanside Chiefs come out. These guys were a play-in team. So you got to give them some respect. They had to earn their way in too. And you guys ran them off the pitch 38-12. How did that feel? How are you guys feeling Saturday after all the games were done?
Felt like we could go win the national championship after that game. Like we had a lot of respect for that team. Guys on our team knew guys on their team. A lot of credit to our Huns, Keegan, Matt Mitchell, Cliff, and all those for shouting the entire game and getting our backs. We felt pretty good after that game. And we had about an hour and a half chat about how we were going to win the national title and upset some people the next day. So yeah.
My daughter's significant other is a Marine that has friends from the Marine base on that team. And he'd shit talk that they were going to kick our ass. So I got to text him the score in real time. That was a pleasure, I tell you. So ran into a bit of a buzzsaw, got off to a slow start, ran into a bit of buzzsaw against the West Side Ronins, lost to them. So our only two losses turned out to be to the teams in the finals. And I tell you, this is what blew me away about this team both days. We lose a match, and you guys rebounded, came back, resilient as hell, and again, you stomped New York Old Blue. I mean, they got a late try that makes the 29-17 score look respectable. But you ran them off the field too. And these guys beat us pretty handily in 2019 at the Super Qualifier. I heard words from our team like they were stunned, they were shocked. I mean, these are big scalps, Washington Athletic, New York Old Blue. Holy cow.
Yeah. I had guys I was scouting for the MLR draft on that team, Eric Naposki, Shea Shore Haskins. So guys that I was very familiar with. And that was just a full on system game, like guys committing to what Adam was preaching. And you could see it on the film. Like, it just looks like a beautiful symphony when that defense works together. Just guys looking like inline skaters, pushing them out of bounds one way and the other. And
Alan,
that was just a commitment to
Adam sent me a picture. Bonnie from the Dallas Reds took about 1 million pictures. And Adam sent me a picture of 4 or 5 of you guys running up on defense in perfect alignment. I think you were one of them. And I don't think anything made him more proud than how you guys played defense and worked together on defense.
It made us so comfortable too. When you can be comfortable on defense, it's a pretty dangerous thing when, you feel like you can take away every option the team's going to give you. And that's how we felt against Old Blue. I was a part of giving up the late try and stuff like that. So that one stung, but it was the job was done. And
it didn't matter. It didn't matter. My point is, you ran them off the field basically 29-10. That's a blowout in sevens.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome, man. So then our prize for beating Old Blue in the plate finals is to play Life West, who has won national championships in college, their college side 15s and 7s in their club side. So everyone's exhausted, beat up. You got carpet burns from the artificial turf. Yeah. And you're playing Life West in the final. And that thing was tight. Oh, man. What did that feel like?
That one felt, just as good as the one before that. I know all these clubs like from following the game and stuff, but I don't think if you went around our team, you'd find guys, you'd say, we're playing Life West. They'd be like, who's Life West? You got a lot of guys that probably didn't understand the moment at the time and maybe do now after the standing ovation. But I think a little bit of our ignorance played into our advantage, and we just played them just like they were anybody else. And we took them down, and that was
you didn't know enough. They didn't know enough to be afraid. Exactly. I tell you what, I don't think Old Blue or Oceanside or Washington Athletic. I think that whole fight with the Washington Athletic was like, how the hell are the Huns beating us? I mean, seriously, Yeah. So you mentioned the standing ovation. Brian Wellborn told us his version of this story at the board meeting on Wednesday. So as I understand it, you've beaten Life West. You've gone over and taken 1 million photographs in a little photo area, including this one behind me. And by the way, here he is right here, right? Is that you?
That's right.
Yeah. And, everybody's on cloud 9, right? You can't feel any better than you're feeling already, but you got to walk all the way past this grandstand over here. I guess my hand isn't showing up, but above Brian Wellborn's head, you got to walk all the way past that grandstand to get back to your tent and your stuff. What happened on that 100-meter walk?
Yeah. So right where that fence is in the picture, we go around the corner, and I think a few of us, we actually stopped because we're watching some game for just like a brief second and kind of catching up with one another as we walk. And as we we all kind of huddle together, we're stopped, and then we start processing through the stands to get to the other side. And we just started, people just one by one started standing up and clapping. And it started with probably the Reds and HTX and the Texas teams, but then it just filled across the stadium and people started looking down at who we were. And we just started realizing that everybody was clapping. We kind of kept walking and like thanking them as we walked by. But yeah, without a doubt, one of the coolest feeling I've ever had in this game. And I really, really love this game and had a lot of great moments, but to be acknowledged by a fan base that's not your own is pretty special. And kind of filled, I think, the majority of our team in on what we had actually accomplished and, what we could accomplish going forward.
Brian Wellborn, who's been a Hun for, 20 years, maybe not quite, but close, said it was his best moment in rugby.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just amazing. And, one of the things that's remarkable about this club right now is there are so many guys, old farts like me and others, doing shit, working behind the scenes. I mean, Adam's a former player that's basically coaching as a volunteer. Brian's a former player. Kretschmar, Alex, a couple of guys hurt there, coaching as volunteers. You got old boys talking about your route and asking questions, wanting to know what's going on, coming out to games. There are so many people working together these days and pulling for you behind the scenes. I left my brother's birthday dinner, my brother-in-law's birthday dinner, to watch the final. I said, I'm sorry, I love you, dude, but the Huns are playing in the final. And he was cool. He's like, okay, it's football,
Yeah.
So, look, man, I couldn't be happier. I don't know you all that great. I mean, we've met a couple times when I've been out there. I probably knew your brother better. That was him, right? That was streaking at the Gilgronis game. That wasn't you.
It wasn't me, but I won't rat him out. No, it was him.
That's hilarious.
I convinced him to do it, and it was a good stage streaker. And
it was funny. It was funny, but I was so blown away by the day you had in Austin a few weeks ago when we won the tournament at Black's Stadium. Now let's review. You beat the Reds in the final on the Blacks home field with our winning score up on their scoreboard. That's 2 scalps at one time, undefeated for the year against Blacks in D1 rugby. Amazing, amazing stuff. But I was so impressed by your games that day. And similarly, we got some stars on this team. And I mean what I'm about to say to you as a compliment. You're a glue guy. You're a grubber. You do all the dirty work that needs to be done and just put your head down and get stuff done. I really admire how you play. It's been great to watch you, man.
I really appreciate that, Bill. I just love being a part of this team. And in college, like I was probably like the guy on my team. And when I came out here, I recognized who the guys on this team were. And I took a lot of like I have a lot of pride in being like a role player and knowing that I can cover a few positions on the field. And I go as hard as I can in training, and I go as hard as I can in the game, because that's what I got to do to be able to compete with some of the studs we have on our team. I do want to take a second to talk about Brian really quick, because he was really influential in what we did in Seattle. That was a guy I don't know. Like I know Brian well because he's coached us, but I got a chance to get to know Brian a lot in Seattle because he was driving around the team van and kind of being house dad for us over in the Airbnbs.
For us Brian, that know him differently, that's a little bit scary that Brian's the house dad.
But he showed us how to be in those big moments, just how to like have fun and look around and see how cool how cool is this place? He's driving around. How cool is this view? Look at this place. Look at that. He just showed us in a big moment where we could have been nervous, he took all that away by just, kind of letting us soak in the moment. And I wanted to give him a lot of credit for that because, it's basically like having an extra team captain out there, and he's not going to be playing in that tournament. And he's still having just as much fun as everybody else. And that was important for me at least.
Dude, I think it's amazing. I thought it was great we could send 4 coaches. I thought it was great that we rallied to raise funds to send you guys. This club, the last few years, rebounding from appealing relegation and rebounding and continuing to recruit from the ground level up and pulling together around our culture and succeeding the right way. This club has, the last 4 years, has never ceased to amaze me. It's like every time I think, okay, wow, we've done it. What else can we do? We do more. And Adam tells me you and Brian are doing some great work with recruiting, and the best may still be yet to come. So that sounds pretty cool too. Okay, one more tough question. We already answered the mullet debate. One more tough question. I've never gotten a straight answer to this question. What the hell actually is a Gilgroni? How do you make one?
It's in the distillation process, I'm being told right now, being tested, recipes being offered. It's a slow burn.
Dude, you guys have been to the Gilgronis for like 3 years, 2 years on the field, and the Gilgroni recipe is still not finalized?
That's right. And you know what? As soon as I figure it out, I'm going to give it a try, and I'm going to let you know how it is, and then I'm going to send you on.
Are there any more of those camo Gilgroni jerseys laying around?
I think there is, Bill. I think there is. Let me see.
You and I are going to talk offline. That is the sexiest jersey I think I've seen.
Too good. Yeah. I think I've got one right by my desk, so I'll get it sorted out after this call.
We'll have to talk. All right. Before we sign off, man, our club is made up of so many great guys, so many characters, a lot of glue guys. I think you're one of those glue guys, but dude, you also played like a star. We got Jack Casey running for the board. A lot of good things happening. Anything else you want to say to the boys before we sign off?
Oh, man. I know Jack Casey very well. I played with him in Chicago before coming out to Austin. So I'm one of those Lions guys that was, out there. And all I can say is the best for Jack Casey. I think he deserves to be on the board, or maybe if not deserves, then, should be very highly in consideration. He's one of the smartest guys I know. I think he's going to look out for the future of this club very well. He's a bright decision maker. He's a great leader, and he's been, vice captain on 2 of the teams that I've been a part of. So I give him all my endorsements.
All right. Now that we're done with the campaign speech, anything else you want to say to the club?
Yeah, just to everybody who donated and sent us up to Seattle. That was really an amazing thing to get together that kind of money. I know it's like times aren't easy for anybody, and to be able to drum up that kind of money to put together a memory that will stay with me, and I know all the guys in that picture behind you, Bill, for a lifetime. I'll never be able to thank those people enough, and I wish I could get all their names and numbers. If you could get those for me, Bill, I would write them all a hand letter, because that was a special thing that they put together for us.
Well, I was holding the computer so everybody could get a good look at that plate. Man, as an old man, I've gotten to a spot where, winning is important, no doubt. But how you win is even more important than winning. And, there have been a couple times this year where I've just been so blown away and grateful and happy for our players, our coaches, and our club, that I have felt emotional to the point of happy tears, man. And I've gotten choked up, and I'm not kidding. And watching y'all play in Seattle, it was just another example this last 12 months of so many things coming together for our club. And, I salute you. I salute everybody on this team. A lot of great young men, and we're really, really proud of y'all.
I really appreciate that, Bill. And I really appreciate the old cast. If I haven't said it enough, I watch it every time. And I've talked to Brendan Curl as well, who's in this picture, and he watches them too. And it's cool to learn more about the Huns, because us new guys aren't like all that familiar with all the old stories about, how we came to be and who did this and who did what and why we behave this way, or why Adam coaches us this way, and this and that. And so this is really cool and special for us. So please continue to do the old cast. We love it.
Well, I'm glad you like it. The whole point was that a few years ago when we had our kerfuffle, it's like people could only, it seemed like, remember the last couple of years or even the last 10 years. And
Yep.
I was talking to Hansel and I said, hey man, wouldn't it be great if we interviewed some of these old boys and, really documented Huns history? And the old cast just started with me recapping recent events and having a little bit of fun. But lately, the old casts have all been interviews, and it's a hell of a lot better listening to y'all tell your Huns stories than to have me tell the same ones over and over again. So really, that's what we're doing in a couple of different forums, is try to get as many people as possible to tell their Huns stories, because that's where our culture comes from, is you. And the guys in this picture, and it's an evolving thing. And we hope that recruits, people that want to come play for our club, look at our YouTube page or our Facebook page and learn about our club. So, I have a couple of things I want to talk to you about offline. I mean, Alex Reese describes you as a rugby renaissance man.
He loves to say that, man.
You've written articles, you've done your own podcasts and team shows with Alex. You've worked in a variety of capacities for the Gilgronis, including now as a scout of talent. And so, some of these guys that you're scouting and teams that you're scouting, I'm sure aren't good enough to play pro yet, but we can benefit from that as a club with some of your efforts, and on and on and on. And, you young guys, by the time I was 26 or 7, I was done with rugby. We played a full fall and spring season, and my body was out of gas. And I started playing when I was 18. You young guys, Jack Casey started in like 6th grade or something. And you've done all these jobs and all the key players. I mean, our future is on your shoulders, but I want to talk to you about ways to improve this and keep this going in a fun way. So we'll talk about that offline too.
Okay, sweet.
All right, man. Anything else you want to say before we sign off?
No, just that I love the Huns and I love everything that you're doing, man. This has been great. And we'll keep at it, and we'll keep bringing great guys, and we'll accomplish the goal of winning a national championship and growing an amazing club here in Austin.
Well, that's one thing I think we all agree on. We all love the Huns, and this club's special. These teams are special. I've been a part of a lot of organizations, and there's something dynamic that you can't quite explain in the Huns, and that's just, we're fortunate. Let's just leave it at that.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. I appreciate you taking the time. You and I, I'll be back in the mainland United States Saturday. We'll talk next week.
Perfect. That sounds perfect, Bill.
All right, man. Take care. Thanks again.
All right. Bye-bye.
See you.